Stefan, I'm sorry. Okay. Got it. All right, metalheads, this is DJ REM, and I have Stefan from Canto. And you guys are amazing. I just have to tell you that right now. So, first thing I want to know is, I guess if you could just tell us what's going on with the band right now, currently.
Yeah, all right. We just released our fourth album, Break the Silence, at the end of September. And directly after the release, we went on a European tour with a 5-band package for 2.5 weeks. It was quite successful and very amazing for us because we visited lots of countries that we've never been before with Canto, only for holiday as a private person. So it was pretty exciting for us. And right now we're relaxing a little bit because we had lots of gigs and of course the album production and everything. And we will hit the road again at the end of the year with 6 German gigs. And we didn't have so much plans further than that. So this is all I can tell right now about Canto's plans.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty ambitious. So that sounds good. So I'm really curious. I this kind of happened upon you guys. It was just pure accident on YouTube is how I found you guys. And so how did you guys get into this a cappella metal, this style that you guys do, which, is amazing? How did you guys get into that? I mean,
you can imagine that that I'm not asked this question for the first time.
Right, yeah, I'm sure.
But to be honest, there's no big story behind it. We all played in regular metal bands before, and we knew each other from playing gigs together with our former bands, and Bastian, the drummer, and me, we played together in our former thrash power metal band for about 10 years. And yeah, to be honest, our former bands have never been of any interest to any metalhead, at least it seems so. So we decided to try something else, and we wanted to do a vocal-oriented project. It wasn't planned to turn out as an a cappella band. We just wanted to do something vocal-oriented. It might have ended up like a band like Blind Guardian or Avantasia, where we have lots of lead singers and lots of background choirs with a regular metal band behind it. But the more we tried in the studio and the more we wrote songs and recorded them, we noticed that it would be a good idea to try to leave the instruments away and do everything with our voice. And so we did.
Yeah, and you did excellently too. My favorite song, the one I keep playing over and over again, is the Sabaton cover of Primo Victoria you guys did. That's amazing, that tune.
Thank you.
So
it's always I don't know if you know all of our albums because Primo Victoria is a cover that we did on the latest album, and this time we decided to cover songs that feel like we have written them ourselves. So perhaps Primo Victoria is not the biggest metal hit of all times like Master of Puppets or Fear of the Dark are, but it's a song that feels very natural to us because the guys have a similar way of songwriting, and we quickly got into the mood of the song, so it felt quite natural for us to do it.
Right, and I love how Sabaton's lead singer kind of leads off the beginning. With you guys, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a great possibility for us to do it because we had the chance to play at their own festival in Sweden this summer, and we had an own show there, and we also had a special guest appearance at their show. All lights off, Canto was getting on stage and suddenly performing Primo Victoria a cappella, and this was very, very good promotion for us, and then it was quite easy to ask Joachim if he wants to join us with guest vocals on the album, and that's the story.
So how do you go to a band and say, okay, you know what, we want to do this with your song? How do they receive that?
Yeah, and in this case, it was the other way around because they asked us to join them on their festival. So then it was quite easy for us to ask them because we already knew that they like Canto and
that's amazing.
That they're familiar with what we're doing. And with all the other covers we did, it's always that we first record the whole song and that we mix it and that we master it so it's completely finished, and then we ask the original composer because we always thought that it might be a little bit difficult if we just asked somebody by mail or by phone, hey, we want to do an a cappella cover of your song, are you okay with it? Nobody could give an answer because he just couldn't imagine how it sounds in the beginning of Canto. So it was quite good for us to record the song first and then to ask. And until now, we've never had any song that we didn't get permission for. So I guess the original artists, or at least the original publishing companies, always were interested in what we were doing. So it was quite easy.
That's cool. So, like because you've done quite a few of Metallica's stuff. How have you actually spoken to the band, or have you gone through their management?
No. Metallica and Iron Maiden are the only two bands we've covered that we've never got in contact with the original artists. So I can tell you if James Hetfield or Lars Ulrich even know Canto, I don't know. We only were in contact with the publishing companies. But with all the other bands we covered, Blind Guardian, of course, and Nightwish and Manowar, we were in personal contact, and they told us that they like what we're doing. Well, at least they told us.
Right. Well, that's cool, yeah. And the Manowar cover is amazing, too.
Yeah.
That's another band I love, so.
Yeah, and they invited us on their to play on their German festival. And then we, of course, we also played the Kings of Metal cover. And lots of the Manowar people didn't know Canto at all. And they were like, okay, a cappella band, what's this? And after 3 or 4 songs, all hands were up. And then we did Kings of Metal as the encore, and I think we did a quite good job there. It was a very good gig for us.
I was going to say the crowd was probably going pretty crazy.
Yeah, of course. And Eric Adams was watching the show from beside the stage, and after the show he told us that we did great, so I was very proud about this one.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. So how long have you guys all been together as band Canto?
The band officially founded in 2006. I guess we started trying things out in the studio at the end of 2005. And the official start of Canto was when we released the first video to our song The Mission, and I guess it was December 2006. That was the first time that anybody had the chance to get to know Canto.
Cool. Can you just let everybody that's going to listen to this, can you just kind of go around and name off all the members of the band and what their spots are?
Yeah, of course. So it's the easiest to start with me because that's what I know the best. My name is Stefan, and I'm doing the lower rakataka vocals, as we call it. So I'm doing the imitation of the rhythm guitars and also the lead guitar vocals. And then on my side, my companion Ross Thompson, is a Scottish guy. He's doing the higher rakataka vocals. So when we sing together, we try to imitate a power chord sound from guitar. Then we have Ike, who's the bass singer, and then we have 2 lead singers, Sly, who's doing a regular metal lead vocal, and Inga, who's doing the female lead vocals. And behind us we have Bastian, our drummer, and he's the second Canto drummer, because our first album we recorded with another drummer, but as I said before, it was only started as a project and never as a band to play gigs and record more albums. So we quickly noticed, or he quickly noticed that he hasn't enough time. So I remembered my old bandmate Bastian. As I said before, I played together with him in bands since we've been 14 or 15 years old. So it was a quite easy decision to get him in the band. And since 2007, the lineup didn't change, and right now I think it will never change because it doesn't make sense with such a band. You can't just go on tour and have another bass player like in a regular band because the sound would quickly change. So this is the lineup right now.
What often do you guys get together and practice?
Well, the beginning was quite often, like every band. I can't remember it exactly, but right now we don't rehearse that much because we've been on tour very, very much. We played 52 gigs last year, and in the end of 2011 we will have played about 40 or 45 gigs this year as well. So we're hitting the road quite regularly, so we only meet to rehearse when we get new songs into the live set. So of course after the release of the current album we had some rehearsal weekends, and the rest is while we're getting on stage we're getting into it. So the first 1 or 2 gigs are always a little bit different than the rest of the tour, because we just have to get into the material, and you can't practice it in the rehearsal room. It's a completely different thing when you're on stage.
Right. So how long does it take you guys to get the sound down for a particular song? I don't count the minutes that we need to write and record a song. The only thing I can tell that it feels much more natural nowadays than in the beginning. So I'm a guitar player as well, and in the beginning I always thought like a guitar player. So I always thought, what would I do if I play guitar to this song? And then I translated it into singing metal a cappella. But after 5 years, it feels much more natural what we're doing. So we don't have. It's not that difficult to translate the composition or the arrangement into metal a cappella. It just feels the way it is, and I didn't do many other things in the last 5 years. So we're getting used to it. Right. So it just comes natural. That's cool. Where did you guys record this last album at?
Yeah, the last 3 albums were recorded in Blind Guardian's Twilight Hall studio together with their producer Charlie Bauerfeind. He did a drum recording and even helped us out in drum arrangements and defining the sound itself. But all the vocals and all the mix is done in our own studio. And then we have a mastering studio because this is something that I do not want to do on my own. But recording and the actual producing and mixing is all done by ourselves.
That's really cool. That's nice that you have that option, obviously.
Yeah, and it's very important when it comes to a metal a cappella band, because if you have a regular band, you can just book a studio for 4 weeks, and even if the guitar player gets a cold, it doesn't matter. He can still play guitar. But we need about 3 or 4 months recording an album. Because we always need breaks when the voice is a little bit tired, or if somebody gets a cold. So it would be quite expensive if we really had to book another studio. So I'm very happy that we have the option to record in our own studio.
Right. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had a couple members sick when you were supposed to do a show?
Yeah. It's quite interesting that it's not happening very often. In the beginning of Canto, I was afraid that would happen every second or every third show. But I can remember 2 shows from 120 that we played where we really had to share lead vocals between the different band members because one of the lead singers was too sick. And we even had 1 gig where Sly couldn't manage to get on stage at all. And of course, these are the moments where you think about if you should cancel the gig. But we were not that professional at that time, so we always thought, okay, it will get better, and suddenly all people stood in front of stage, and then we noticed, oh my God, it's not getting better. But that's a good thing. If you have a band with 5 singers, then we can share lead vocals, and of course it sounds a little bit different if one voice is missing all the time. But I think the people definitely had a good time, and I hope this will not happen too often again.
Well, and for your sake, I hope not either.
Yeah.
I was just curious, I mean, obviously that's a big thing if a couple people are sick, so.
Yeah, it's like sports, I guess. So in the beginning, we I don't know what's the word in English, we did too much when getting on stage because of all the adrenaline, and so we put everything into 1 gig, and then we had to take a break for 1 week. But right now, as I said before, we did a 2.5-week European tour with only 3 days off, and it went quite well to my surprise, because right now we know what we are doing, and we warm up, and we take care of ourselves. It's not that much rock and roll when we are touring because we need much sleep, and nobody is screaming around in backstage. So yeah, we finally managed to get along.
Very good. So what, you said you started, when you were 14, 15 and all this. What were your influences growing up as far as metal bands? Or it doesn't even have to be metal bands. What kind of musical bands were your interests?
Yeah, for me, personally speaking, it's exactly the bands that we've been covering. The only band that was not that big influence, but we did a cover, was Deep Purple. We only did the cover because we thought it might be interesting to have a song from the 70s as well. But all the other bands we've covered, so Nightwish, Blind Guardian, Metallica, Manowar, Iron Maiden, are my main influences, and these are the bands that I listened to when I was a teenager, and these are the bands that I love to listen to right now. So I'm a quite I'm not changing my musical opinion every year, and I'm not giving too much to about trends. And I still love Manowar, and I guess I will love them when I'm 40 and 50 and 60, no matter if they're if it's a trend or not.
I'm with you there. I'm not I get so tired of people putting music in genres and getting into trends and only listening to what's popular. That's just, it's not real. It's not real music
when they are listening to it, as long as they don't claim other bands for sounding different. That's the thing with Van Canto as well. Of course we have because we are doing something special, and we have success with it, and there are many people around who love Van Canto and come to our shows. We have real fans. That's something completely new for me. As I said, in my old bands, we never had fans. There was just some friends when we played in our hometown. But with Van Canto, it's also that there are a lot of haters around, especially in the internet. If you have a look at our videos or at the reviews of the new album, there are many people that really have a problem with Van Canto, and I always wonder why. Because if I do not like anything, or if I do not like a band, then it's just not of interest to me. So I listen to bands that I like, but I'd never take my time logging into the internet and then giving a comment about every band that I don't like. If I did, I would not be able to do anything else, because there wouldn't be no time left. So this is something I don't care if somebody listens to other music than I do, and even if he listens to bands that I don't like at all, well, he should listen to it as long as he lets me listen to the music that I like.
Yep, I 100% agree with you there, buddy. 100%.
Yep.
So how did you guys come up with the name for the band?
Oh, I don't remember. It's the same question like how did you get the idea?
Right.
Canto is the Latin word for voice and singing, and so and the van is just that it looks better on tour posters. I don't know. My old band was called Chester's Funeral, and this is a very hard for German fans to pronounce the name correctly, and we had an apostrophe in the gestures, so we never were found in the internet or in any database at the record stores. So the idea was definitely to have a shorter name that can be printed bigger on tour posters, and that's why we're called Van Canto.
Yeah, that works. That works. Okay, so another thing that I tend to kind of get drawn to and focus on is the artwork, the cover work for albums that bands make.
Yeah.
So how did, the cover's different, it's very cool. What was the artistic thought behind the cover, or was it or was there, I guess?
Yeah. Well, first of all, for Van Canto, it's quite interesting that every cover is done by a different cover artist. So we've never worked with the same person twice. Not because they didn't do a good job, but just because we like how other people see our music. So of course, there's lots of input from the cover artist, and this one from Break the Silence was done by Felipe Machado, who also did the latest Blind Guardian release. That's how we got in contact. Yeah, and the album title was given at that time. It was Break the Silence, because we noticed that even though we are quite well known in Germany in the metal scene right now, there are still many places around the world that never listen to metal a cappella at all. So we thought it's a good thing to get to those countries and to do some metal a cappella shows there, and that's what we wanted to show with Break the Silence. And the same goes with the cover artwork. So we have a kind of universe scene, outer space, where there's no sound at all, and then there's this explosion and the phoenix rising in a world, and the phoenix is the metal a cappella coming to different worlds. Yeah.
Excellent. I really appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah.
So, if I was to just go back to you now, if I was to grab like your MP3 player or however you listen to music, what would I find you listening to right now? I think I already know the answer, but
yes, well, I don't have an MP3 player at all. I mean, I have an iPhone, but I do not like listening to MP3 music because somehow, it makes me pain in my ears. I don't know why. So I'm listening to CDs, and my favorite CD is the current Powerwolf album. And I also listen a lot to progressive metal stuff, even though our music is not progressive at all, and we're the true metal composers. In my free time, I love listening to bands like Symphony X. I have the current album on heavy rotation as well. And if I want to listen to music because I'm in a special mood, I always get back to the albums that I listened to when I was 16 or 17, because this was the time where the feeling when listening to music was most intense. So I always get back to Blind Guardian's Imaginations or to any Manowar album. Yeah.
Very cool. And I'm really excited that you mentioned Powerwolf, because pretty much whenever I play, which is every show, when I play your tunes, I always follow or I always play Powerwolf and you guys together. It's kind of like my little rock block I do.
Yeah, yeah, great. I love the band. I love the way they compose songs, and we know each other and we are close friends. So it's just a great band, and I love the singer, and I even think that it's something nowadays. It's something special if a metal band has a lead singer that only sings, and that can make a whole album and a whole show without growling or screaming, just doing melodic but powerful metal vocals, and that's why I love Powerwolf.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And that's, again, and with them, the same reason I like you guys is because it's not there's 5,000 bands out there that all sound the same, and you guys and Powerwolf, you guys, it sounds so much. The sound is so much different than everything that's like mainstream right now. Yeah, and that's exactly what I always tell the people that all the haters. I always say, hey, there are about 5,000 releases every month. So if you don't like Canto, just listen to one of the 4,900 other releases, and you surely find your, metalcore album or whatever you're searching for. There's so much metal bands around, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing for bands that it's so cheap to produce album these days. So I think everybody who loves music is able to find the bands that does exactly the style he was looking for. So relax. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I want to while we're talking, I want to give a big old shout out to Napalm Records and Nathan specifically at Napalm for actually for getting me in contact with you guys, and Nathan does me very well when it comes to wanting to talk to bands. So I just want to give a shout out and a thank you to him, and again a thank you to you to taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, great. It was a pleasure. It was an interesting interview, definitely.
So I guess here's your chance to anything else you want to tell the world, that anybody that's going to listen to this interview, what you'd like them to know about you guys.
To be honest, the interview was very well done. So you asked everything that I wanted to tell. So you did very well. So I just can thank for the interest in Canto, and perhaps for the interest in a metal band that sounds a little bit different. But in the end, we're just a gang of 6 people writing songs and performing them on metal stages. So it would be great if you give us a chance.
Right, and I tell you what, every time I play you guys, somebody in our chat room on the website is like, I've never heard these guys. These guys are really cool.
Yeah.
So it's neat to get that response from the listeners that, because I know the majority of them have never heard you guys. So
and it's great to have people like you that even want to play some new bands and not only Slayer, Metallica, and perhaps the latest Iron Maiden. So it's great to have people like you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Now, if you ever tune into my show, I pretty much play all new stuff, whether it's a signed band or an unsigned band.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I play is artists out there that don't even have a label. They're just trying to get heard. So, I mean, that's kind of my thing. That's what I like to do.
Great thing.
Okay, one last plug for you. Where can people buy your album?
Oh, I'm not that much into it concerning U.S. stores, but of course you can have it on iTunes if you're into MP3. But I'm sorry, I can't tell you any shop names.
No. That's okay. I purchased, and yes, I purchased your album. I purchased it on Amazon, so I know they can get it from Amazon.com.
No, if that works, then I guess everybody has the chance to get the album.
Right. So I encourage people that if you when you hear their songs on Metalhead Radio, if you like them, go buy their album, support them.
Great.
Or, if you're a fan over in Germany or over in Europe somewhere and you actually can go see them, buy their merchandise.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And we are a band that has quite many videos, so everybody who's not sure if you should buy an album or not can simply check one of our, I guess it's 10 or 12 videos we did already, so he can check them out for free at YouTube, and then he can decide if it's worth buying an album or not.
Exactly. Okay, one last thing to ask you before I let you go. Can you make me a couple of radio tags?
Oh, of course.
So, if you could make one for DJ REM at metalheadradio.com, and then just make one for the radio station just at metalheadradio.com. So, you can just say your name and say, from Van Canto and on from there.
It's DJ REM, did I get this correctly?
DJ REM, yes.
Okay.
And you can go whenever because it's recording now.
Okay. Hi guys, this is Stefan from Canto, and you're listening to DJ Ram of MetalheadRadio.com.
Perfect, man.
Hi, this is Stefan from Canto, and you're listening to MetalheadRadio.com.
Very cool. I appreciate it a whole bunch.
Thank you.
Yeah, and please tell everyone else in the band that I said hello and that I truly enjoy.
I will.
What you guys do. So just let them know that for me, please.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you taking the time to call me, and you have a great, I guess, is it evening now over there?
Yeah, it's about 7 p.m. now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a great evening, man. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.